Narcissists are just scared little boys who don't want to grow up and face the shame of their behavior. They want to keep playing the victim and blaming it on mommy and every other woman who is willing to carry their emotional load. Our job as women is not to take that responsibility and to stand in our power and continue to face and love ourselves. And as we do this, it becomes clearer and clearer who will rise to meet us and who we need to leave behind. I'm Lisa, and I am recovering from narcissistic abuse. I divorced a narcissist, and I am co-parenting with one, or if you can call it that, right now. I think that most men may have been, maybe that's a sad view, but I think most men are subject to this pattern through our culture. But we can rise above it, and those that are willing to can rise above it. As we rise in truth, sovereignty, and self-responsibility, it becomes clearer who is truly capable of meeting us and who we must lovingly walk away from in order to protect our spirit. Our job is not to mother grown men, soothe their wounded egos, or explain away their choices. To love ourselves, our job is to love ourselves so fiercely and so consistently that we can finally tell the difference between a man who is willing to rise and a man who will drain us until there is nothing left. So I was curious about where narcissism really begins. I'm also a marriage and family therapist, and I've worked with cycles before between couples and within couples. So I wanted to understand what creates this cycle, because we need to heal it generationally. We need to break these patterns, but we don't break them by engaging with them. We break them by rising above them and loving ourselves. I'm just going to keep reiterating it. I'm a sovereignty coach, and I help women to rise above, become sovereign, and not be vulnerable to these relationships anymore. Be able to be clear, consistently love ourselves, and to be clear when and if we need to leave or walk away, to choose ourselves. A narcissist is not born. They are organized by the relational field they grew up in, and almost always the root is in the dynamic between their parents. There are a few key patterns that create the narcissistic child. The child becomes the emotional substitute for one parent. I probably started out as a narcissist. Often the mother, not always. She is lonely, unsupported, or emotionally abandoned by the father. She unconsciously turns to the child, usually the son, for emotional intimacy. The child becomes her little man, her comfort, her pride, her emotional regulator. This creates a fusion. For me, it was my dad. The child gets the message, your job is to make me feel good. Your feelings don't matter. So he learns to perform, to charm, to stay emotionally superficial, to avoid accountability, to collapse when confronted. That's playing the victim. Because any real vulnerability feels like annihilation. One parent is emotionally dominant, the other is emotionally collapsed. In many families, the narcissistic parent emerges when one parent is controlling, volatile, or emotionally unpredictable. The other parent is passive, self-sacrificing, or conflict avoidant. The child doesn't get healthy mirroring. Instead, they learn to survive through managing moods, manipulating attention, staying on top emotionally, avoiding responsibility, and projecting blame. This creates the internal structure we later label as narcissism. The child never experiences healthy shame, not toxic shame, healthy shame. Healthy shame is what teaches a child limits, empathy, responsibility, and humility. In narcissistic households, the parents either shame excessively, destroying the child's core, or they never allow consequences at all. The guilt gets projected onto others. The result, a child who cannot tolerate the discomfort of being wrong. So they attack, blame, twist reality, or collapse into victimhood instead. The family system is already carrying an ancestral trauma. This is where it fits inside family constellations, which is a method that I use to break intergenerational patterns. Narcissistic patterns often emerge after a parent or grandparent was emotionally neglected. A parent was enmeshed with their own parent. A previous generation experienced war, addiction, or abandonment. You see how it's in our culture? There is unresolved shame or exclusion in the lineage. Narcissism becomes the protective shell the system creates to prevent contact with overwhelming ancestral pain. So what does this mean for women who keep attracting narcissistic partners? It means you're not meeting a monster. You're meeting a man. I wouldn't even say a man. You're meeting a boy who never separated from his mother emotionally, who never developed an adult sense of responsibility, who never integrated his masculine, never learned to regulate shame, and never felt safe enough to be accountable. Your work as a woman who keeps attracting them, which you intuitively already know, is to stop taking responsibility for his wounds, stop being the container his parents never were, to stand in your sovereignty and your truth, to hold the boundary of return to yourself. Keep going back to you. What do you want? What do you need? To rise so you can see who can meet you and who cannot. Because when a woman reclaims her power, the system reorganizes. And you can get into another relationship and it may be better and healthier. And in that relationship, you are still going to do the same thing. Consistently love yourself, consistently look at yourself. What do you need? What do you want? How can you heal yourself? And it's just by holding and acknowledging yourself. I created this model called AVCs, acknowledge, validate, care for. So when a part of you gets triggered or injured, you just feel that part in your body, put a hand there, acknowledge it. I feel you sad, I feel you scared. Validate it. Of course you feel that way. Your needs are not being met here. You're not being seen. Or whatever is coming up for you. Care for it. Do you need to speak up in your relationship? Do you need to take care of yourself in some way? Do you need to do something on your own? Do you need to create space? Do you need to set a boundary? So that's what we need to do consistently for ourselves every time. And then we see who meets us and who we need to leave behind. This is really, really tough work, and it's beautiful work. And I didn't really mean, I wanted to be a sovereignty coach. Well, it's not that I wanted to be a sovereignty coach, actually. That's what spoke to me, and I was kind of guided to that. What I didn't know and what I didn't want was to have to work with people who, I didn't want to have to work with women who were recovering from narcissistic abuse. That was too close for me. But it seems to be what I'm being called to do. And I'm still like, really? Because I don't want to do this. But it's what's in me. It's what I know. And it's what I'm rising above.